Namaste. How you doing? We're all here? Very good. Pranavam Bhavanukuma Kalabana Bhavaka Gyanagam Jasu Hridaya Vasain Ram Sarachabadhar Atulita Baladham Hem Shalabadeham Tanujavan Krishna Yani Nama Graganyam Sakalaguna Nidhan Vanaranam Disham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namah Pushpadi Kritavarisham Mashaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamalaratnam Ande Nilatmajam Anjananandaram Viram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapisamakshantar Ande Lanka Bhayankaram Sindho Salilam Salilam Yashokavahi Janakatma Jaya Adatane Dadahalanka Amamitam Pranjali Ranjaneyam Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Verdishtam Vatatmajam Vanardayutamukyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye Ramdutam Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramdutam Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramdutam Sharanam Prapadye Anjaneyam Antipatalan Kanchanadri Kamane Avigram Parijada Tarumura Vasanam Bhavayami Pavamananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunath Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakhanjali Vashpavari Paripurna Lochana Martinamat Rakshasantakam Bolo Bhajaranga Bali Hanuman Ki Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hold on. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Hanuman bolo, Hanuman bolo, bolo, bolo Ram. Hanuman bolo. Rama bolo, Rama bolo, bolo, bolo Rama. Rama bolo, Rama bolo, bolo Rama. Hare Rama bolo. Vita bolo, vita bolo, bolo, bolo Ram. Vita bolo, sita bolo, bolo, bolo Ram. Rama bolo, bolo, bolo Ram. Rama bolo, Rama bolo, bolo, bolo Ram. Hey. Bolo Hanuman bolo, Hanuman bolo, bolo, bolo Ram. Hanuman bolo, Hanuman bolo, bolo, bolo Ram. Hanuman. Sitaram, 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 yes, Sitaram. 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 Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. 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 Okay. Hi. Image out of focus, it says. Is it out of focus? Oh, it is out of focus. Come back, magic. Okay, it's not coming back. Hold on. Toot, toot. Well, maybe I'm out of focus. Come on, you can do it. Come here. Is my hand in focus? Close, close, close. No, not. Modern technology. Hold on. What's going on? Oh well. What's going on? Why wouldn't this be in focus? It's plugged in. Everything's working. Huh. Ah, there it is. I must have taken a deep breath and centered myself. Don't move. Okay. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, so blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, so blind, but now I see. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I think I forgot how to play. Namami Shamishan Nirvana Rupam Vibham Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam Nijam Nirgunam Nirvikalpam Niriham Chitakasham Akashavasam Vajeham Nirakaram Onkara Mulam Turyam Kirangyana Gotita Nisham Girisham Karalam Akala Kalam Kripalam Gunagara Samsara Param Natoham. Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange. Deva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Bam Bam Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Bam Bam Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Kashi Vishwanatha Gange They upgraded the tabla machine without telling me. Now it does its own thing. Very good. Oh, Jesus. Well, I'm not in Mexico anymore. Probably wasn't there last week either at this time, was I? It was great down there. Really beautiful place. Beautiful, beautiful place. People are wonderful. And really had a great time. Great place to go. There's some good retreat places down there. Hopefully we'll go again sometime. Okay, let me find the questions and the announcements and all that nonsense. Docs. Okay, so next Tuesday, so on March 2nd, Wednesday, March 2nd, we're starting another course with the Shift Network, through the Shift Network. You know, I don't know how to say this, but everything I know, everything, it comes from Maharaji. I would be long gone if it wasn't for him. And besides that, everything I know about life comes from being connected to him. So, and from his grace of connecting me to him. So I just decided that this course that we're going to give starting on the 2nd of March is really going to be just how to how to develop your own relationship with the Guru, inner, outer, or neither. And as I was telling that, I had to remember many years ago, I don't know where, I think I was visiting my mother, and at night I was watching some television, which I've been known to do. And this infomercial came on late at night. And it was this guy who had been the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He's one of the great coaches of all time, Tom Landry. And there was Tom Landry, and he was asking me if I wanted to have a personal relationship with God. Now, this was like after I'd been in India and everything, you know. And so I said to myself, well, I do want a personal relationship with God. So then he said, all I had to do was call this number, 1-800 something, and get this book. And this book would teach me how to have a personal relationship with God. And I said, how can you go wrong, right? I mean, sounds great, right? So I wrote down the number. I called it. An operator answered, took my order. I guess I gave them a credit card or something. Somehow I gave them some money for the book. And the book never came. Never, ever came. So let's hope that this course is not going to be like that. This course is going to be, the name of the course is Maharaji Hanuman, You and Me. Because it's about you and me and how we really connect. Because we have to connect. We have to get in touch with something real. Even if it's just the faintest belief or understanding that there is a way, something to find, that there is a way to live in this world with peace, with love, with joy, with inner strength, regardless of what's going on in the outside world, without having to push away the outside world, which you can't do, really. So anyway, so next Tuesday at 5:30 Eastern Time, there's a Facebook Live event, free event, and I'm going to be talking about this prayer called the Vinaya Chalisa, which is a prayer written specifically for Maharaji. And it's very, very beautiful. It's very deep and very intimate. And so I'm going to be talking about that, and as an introduction into the course, because we'll be talking about it more during the course. And by the way, I do this prayer in English. There is a Hindi version of the course, which I know I can sing that, but when I do this in my daily practice, I do it in English because I really want to absorb the meaning and what I'm really saying. I really want it to go deep. And so I read it in English. All right, so that's February 23rd, next Tuesday, 5:30 Eastern Time on Facebook. Facebook live event. It doesn't say where on Facebook. Somebody's writing. The link is on my website, events page. So there you go. Okay, and I already told you next Wednesday, not next Wednesday, but March 2nd, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, me, Hanuman, Maharaji, you and me. That's the course starts. It's 5 weeks. Then again on Saturday, March 5th is next Chai and Chat. Saturday, March 19th is Lama Suryadas has invited me to do a program with him. That's Saturday, March 19th at 7 p.m. And Friday, April 22nd to 24th, we are hoping to be able to do a live in-person retreat at Garrison, in Garrison, New York, the Garrison Institute. So COVID willing. So, and that's the deal, right? Okay. Questions? What advice would you give someone who had their first glimpse of the mountaintop? Would you suggest that they wait to meditate again for a while? I don't understand that question at all. If I had a glimpse of the mountaintop, I'd be running my ass up that mountain to live there, bringing whatever I needed to live up on top of the mountain. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would you wait? Why would you wait to meditate again when meditation and chanting and practice is what's going to allow you to live on the mountaintop, so to speak? So I don't know what you mean there. Sorry. Do I have suggestions as to how to really let go of stress from COVID? Numerous deaths and other pandemic stressors that one normally doesn't encounter. Spiritual practice and stress reduction activities don't seem to help as much as one would like. It's called practice. This is not, there's no button to push to make the stress go away. We have to develop a way of living with it, acknowledging it, dealing with it, without being destroyed by it. And that can only come through the deep intuitions that come as we do practice over time. There's no there's no button to push to make it all go away. There absolutely is no button. Spiritual practice and stress reduction activities don't seem to help as much. Well, of course they don't help as much as one would like. They're not buttons you push to make things go away. They're practices and lifestyles and ways of living that you have to learn how to do. And it's very difficult when times are so extreme as they are right now. But on the other hand, when the times weren't extreme, we would just live in like we weren't paying attention. So this time has forced us to pay attention. And now we see how incapable we are in many aspects of getting through the day without banging our head against walls. So of course, Of course, they don't work as much as one would like right away, but it's a way, it's a sense of you have to commit to developing a new way of living. We can't keep doing the same old shit and expect life to change. We can't follow every emotion. We can't allow ourselves to get swallowed up by every negative story that we read in the papers if we're going to try to live in the world in a good way and be of use to other people as well. So I saw the Dalai Lama cry once. He was giving a teaching to thousands of people, and the teaching was all about how to transform oneself and, just find a, open one's heart and develop compassion and kindness and live in the world in a good way. And all week long. And then somebody raised their hand and said, "What's the fastest way to do this?" And he cried. He burst out crying. He had just spent a whole week telling everybody what they could do if they wanted to get it together. And then some guy wants, "Well, what's the fastest way, the easiest way?" That's what we're like. We want the easiest way of everything. And some things just are not easy, period. No matter what we do, they're not easy, but they take effort, commitment, sincerity, honesty, and energy. Someone wants me to explain how reincarnation works. How would I know? I mean, I've read a couple of books, but I'm not, as far as I know, I haven't died yet this life. So I can't tell you how it works. I really can't tell you. There's no sense in me talking about it. Only to say that Maharaji, who never talked about these things, once implied that there is rebirth. He didn't imply, he said, there is rebirth. We were talking about a former girlfriend of mine who killed herself while I was in India. And I asked him to bless her so she'd have a good birth next time. And he said, yes, she'll have a good birth. So just in that short little sentence, he acknowledged that there is rebirth, or what we call reincarnation, rebirth. And on the other hand, we don't really know what that means. For instance, one time I was having a conversation with Mr. Tiwari, my Indian father, and he said that I needed to develop something or other. And I said, oh, well, I'll have to get it together next life. I'll fuck this life up. And he says, my boy, there's only one life. The soul, so to speak, takes on different suits of clothes, wears different things. And then those clothes wear out and it gets another set of clothes. But the mechanics of that and what that means, what our experience will be at that point, I have no idea. But there are good books about that. Tulku Tundup, Thondup, wrote some wonderful books about reincarnation, like Peaceful Life. There's a new one. Peaceful Life and Good Death, something like that. Tulku Tundup, Thondup. Beautiful, beautiful Rinpoche. And of course, there are many other books about those things. If both metaphysical and physical reality exist, should one will both of these concentrations into harmony in the presence? You can't. Your will cannot do that. our personal will cannot rearrange the universe. Our personal will might be able to sit our asses down and calm our minds down a little bit and save us from a lot of these conundrums that seem to be in one's head. That would be nice. Why is it sometimes difficult to be authentic and kind? Because we're selfish bastards. We only care about ourselves and how things relate to us. Do I have enough? Am I getting enough? Are they getting too much? They're taking my share. I got to get that. I need more of this. They have it. I'm going to take it. Who am I in relationship to them? And how do they see me? This is how we go through life. Me, 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 all the time. It all self-referential, small s self-referential. That's why it's hard. How do you overcome that? Very difficult. Not many people do. But we need to find a way to do some sincere practice, because it's only that the practice and the intuitions that arise from practice that can liberate us from those delusions that we have about ourselves. Someone wants to know an easy mantra to say when one needs to feel humility quickly. Well, there is no easy mantra to say that's going to... Mantras are not like buttons you push. You have to practice regularly. We have to commit ourselves to becoming good human beings. We can't bounce through life like ping pong balls and then expect to find peace. We have to work on this. Every day, we have to do some practice. So yeah, quickly is out of the question, okay? You have to have patience. If you develop patience, then everything will be quick, because you won't be in a hurry and you'll be calm. So patience is a quality that's very useful. Patience with ourselves and with others. There's no shortcuts. Every shortcut, while it might seem it's getting you in the right direction, is a dead end, ultimately. One has to transform oneself through personal effort. And yet, the irony is that our efforts can only go so far. We can only cup our hands. We can't make it rain. Luckily, it's raining all the time. So all we have to do is cup our hands and they will fill with water. But we forget. We put our hands like this. We forget what cupping our hands means. And so we go through life every day not paying attention and wishing things were different. Wishing and hoping and blah, blah, blah. That's a song by Dusty Springfield, a great song. Is not going to get it done. You have to do some practice. So get over it and sit your ass down and do something. Someone's asking about, in the Valmiki Ramayana, which is the first writing down of the story of Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, Hanuman, etc. When Hanuman is not able to find Sita in Lanka, he suffers from extremely dark thoughts. Was he at peace then? And if he can suffer that way, what hope do we have? Well, remember, someone's telling the story. Valmiki is telling the story. Why he tells the story in the way he does, it's not up, it's above, that's above our pay grade. My understanding is this, and it comes from a story that I heard from Dada about Maharaji, who is Hanuman incarnate. They were in Chitrakoot, and in Chitrakoot there's a big hill called Hanumandhara. It's a mountain, and there's these concrete steps that go up the mountain. There's hundreds of steps, and they're big steps. So up at the top of the mountain, there's a place called Sita Rasoi, which is Sita's kitchen. And supposedly, Sita, Ram, and Lakshman lived there, and this was a place where, and there, at the top of this mountain, there's a spring coming out. I believe Lakshman shot an arrow, or Ram shot an arrow and brought that water out. I'm not sure about that. So it's said that, so Maharaji went there, and Dada was with him. There must have been some other devotees around. And he sat down there by the stream. And he said to Dada, he said, Dada, after Hanuman burnt Lanka, he came here to cool off, to peace, to calm down and to cool off in this water. And then Maharaji said something, and he said it partially under his breath, as if he was more like just talking to himself. He said, but Hanumanji was always at peace. So remember, this is a story being told by somebody, but it's not, this somebody doesn't necessarily know the inner experience of the beings he's telling the story of. Not necessarily. And from what I understand about Hanuman, and this is the key to Hanuman, that regardless of what he was doing, he was always at one with Rama, at one with God, merged in Ram. So even if he seemed to be wrathful and angry and killing the demons, even then he was still at peace. So I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. We have plenty of hope. I tried to be good to my mother, but she has some flaws that make it hard to be around her. How do I do right? Love means letting somebody be who they are. We can't change people. And our parents, we don't know what made them the way they are. We know them only as our parents. We don't see what life was like when they grew up. We don't see what they went through. We don't see their hearts being broken. We don't understand what brought them to this moment. All we know is that they're our parents, and most of the time they just piss us off. So we have to develop a little compassion. And just like anybody else, real love means letting somebody be who they are. And if you really love someone, you don't need to change them in order to love them. If they change, that's good, maybe. But they'll change on their own time. And they're certainly not going to change if we start pointing out all their faults from our own self-righteous point of view. So just widen your heart and see that that's your judgmental mind, and your judgmental mind is not her problem. It's your problem. So you need more love, you need more compassion, you need more kindness. So you have to find that. And of course, with parents, it's not so easy because we blame them for everything. Does silence play a role on the spiritual path? Well, you know, it depends what you call silence. Just keeping your mouth shut doesn't mean your mind is going to be quiet. So that's not going to be necessarily very helpful. The real silence, as Ramana Maharshi said, is to abide in the self, in the one. And then there's no thought. Or even if there is thought, you're not thinking it. It's a whole different state of consciousness. But as sadhana, as spiritual practice, sometimes not speaking for a day or two or a month, if it's convenient, can show you a lot of stuff about yourself. And that can be very useful. But just to keep your mouth shut, there's no big deal there. But on the other hand, any hard practice like no sugar, or no this, or less sleep, or more meditation, anything that's hard for you to do that you need to use your effort to accomplish, if it's a spiritual endeavor, that can develop will. And we need will. We need willpower. Because that's what directs us, our energy. If our will is crippled, our energy we don't know how to use our energy. There's just energy, and it's all over the place. There's no direction to it. Some of these questions the answers are too, the conversation about it is too, it's not the place to answer some of these questions. There's not enough time, and there's no way to really go into it like this. So some of these things are not for this moment. Why is this world rigged so it's so much easier to get what you don't want, and at the same time extremely difficult to get what you do want? And when you finally do, it's twisted to defeat the point of it. Which world do you live in? Can you win? The world isn't rigged. The world is actually neutral. It's our karmas that shape it and color it, and our emotional damage that projects itself out onto things and dictates to us what we need, what we want, and how to get it and how not to get it. So it's just our own stuff we're seeing in the outside world. So stop looking at the world and thinking it's rigged. Look at your own stuff. Look into your own heart, your own mind, your own being, your own emotions, and see what's in there. And then find a way to work with those, whether it's therapy, counseling, whatever you need to do to iron out and untie some of those knots that are making it hard for you to be happy and find happiness. The world isn't just one thing. Each one of us lives in pretty much a different world. We agree on a certain bandwidth, so we can share language, and most of us see pretty much the same colors. But there are beings who see more colors, so to speak. So they see things in the sky, they see other types of beings. But we're in a particular bandwidth, and in that bandwidth, we are projecting. Our minds are projecting, and then we react to what we see, and we don't like it. So one needs to work on oneself. It's all coming from here. The good and the bad, the good and the painful, all come from within us. Is meditation a place where thought ceases? No, not necessarily. Thoughts don't necessarily cease. Eventually, maybe there won't be any what we call thinking. But that doesn't mean that thoughts won't be still floating through consciousness. We won't be thinking them. Meditation is so many things, but on one hand, meditation is trying to let ourselves calm down, relax the body, relax the breath, release the tension, release the anxiety, just become more at ease. And then you add an object of concentration. You either watch your breath, or you can repeat some mantra. You can chant out loud or not. You try to pay attention, and you begin to notice how hard that is, how our minds are all over the place, and we can't control them. So little by little, you add this object of concentration, and when you notice you're not paying attention to the very thing you chose to pay attention to, you simply come back again and again. And that will slow you down as time goes on. And gradually, but inevitably, the thoughts and emotions that enter into our awareness lose a bit the ability to hook us and to carry us away. But it's not right effort to try to stop thought. You really can't do that. I mean, it can be done, but that's not going to bring what we really want. It might be possible to use our will to actually crunch down thought so that it doesn't arise. But the minute we relax, it arises again because we haven't cut the root of what creates the thoughts in the first place. So it's better to just add a practice to your life. Do it every day. Don't do it too long, because then you have a big reaction. Either you get a big ego, how great, look, I'm doing all this practice, or you say, I can't do shit, it doesn't matter how much I do. One or the other thing's going to happen, or something in between. So just do a little bit every day. Get used to the feeling. I know this seems like bullshit and like kindergarten stuff, but hey, this is kindergarten. I hate to tell you. And we're all in it. So let's recognize how much work we really need to do and how little we really control our own lives. We can't go through the day without flipping out about something. It's very difficult. So let's recognize that and do what's necessary to calm our asses down. Again and again and again and again. There's no magic bullet. But the magic bullet is actually having the understanding that this This is what we need to do. How do you deal with or overcome the feelings of wanting to throw yourself in the river? Well, the feeling might be there to throw myself in the river. The feeling might arise, but I've been told by Maharaji that even if I do jump in the river, I'm not going to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So there's no sense doing it. He said, you can't die. You're going to jump in the river? What are you going to do? Jump in the river? You can't die. You want to die? You have to die the real death, which is the death of the belief in a separate self. He said, only Jesus died the real death. Why? Because he never thought of himself. He gave his life for his people. Jesus didn't have any thought about protecting himself. He just offered himself to his people. And whatever happened, happened. He didn't care. Because he knew he couldn't die. He had already died the real death. And he was alive in God, fully alive. So, even though thoughts sometimes arise about jumping in the river, once you know it ain't going to work, you just say, all right, let me figure something else out. But nothing will work. We cannot kill ourselves. Beings, like Bob Thurman says, there are no dead beings. Bodies come and go for various reasons and in various ways, according to their own timeline. That's what they say. I don't know that for sure, but that's what they say. They say the time of your death is written when you're born. How you get there may not be written, but you get there just at the right time. So yeah, so thoughts of killing myself and thoughts of trying to be away from suffering and how to do it, they may arise, but there's nothing, you have to go through it. There's no escape. And the sad thing is people think they can kill themselves and get away from suffering, and that doesn't work. But they don't understand that. And in fact, when he said, once you understand that the body is temporary, you don't even think of throwing it away. It's already temporary. But we are so identified with our bodies and our emotions. And we think it's forever. This is me, and I'm forever. So, through doing practice and getting more and more involved with the spiritual path, understandings arise from inside about these things. Like, things just happen. Like I saw a prayer today that I've seen hundreds of times before. And today I read it and I went, oh my, that's what that is. That's what that means. I had read that line hundreds of times. And now, today, out of the blue, all of a sudden, oh, now right. That came from inside, not from outside. It came from a culmination of all kinds of things. So those understandings will come from inside about life, about yourself. But we have to pay attention. We have to do some practice. We have to plant the seeds. You don't plant the seeds, nothing's going to grow except weeds. And there's already plenty of weeds. Here we go. I don't like some of my thoughts lately. They are past experiences that were awkward. Humiliating, maybe. You were humiliated and something. I explore them, but I wish the past was different. Now, how is that going to be? The past happened. You can't go back and change it. But I try to let it go, but it comes back. So what do? You keep letting go. That's all. You keep letting go. You keep noticing And then why am I doing this to myself? Why are these thoughts haunting me? Why are they coming back to me? Why do they still hurt? They still hurt because you identify, you think you're the same person who that happened to. Whatever was awkward or humiliating or hurtful, you still feel it right now. You have to let go. You have to let go. Letting go doesn't mean pushing away. It doesn't mean denying. It actually means allowing it to be. And you let go of your reaction. You're trying to push it away. You let that go. And you allow yourself to feel that humiliation, that awkwardness. You sit with it. Wow. Boy, I was so stupid. And then you think, well, it's just, that was then, why do I still feel stupid? I wonder why. You start to see what's working every day. They come back because they didn't go anywhere. They're lodged in our subtle body, in our prana body, in our channels, in the subtle body, the emotional body, you could say, or the energetic body within us. So practice can can release a lot of that negativity, those bruises in our sympathetic nervous system, our subtle bodies. Practice can actually do that, but you have to do the practice with sincerity and honesty and openness and intention and energy and commitment. And then those practices can work, and they can give you some space in there so that you don't keep reliving the same knee-jerk reaction again and again. When it arises, the quality of your feeling might be a little different over time. So yes, practice can do that, and also paying attention to it. Therapy, counseling, all the things that we can do, all the tools that are available to us, we have to use. Because when you're drowning, you use whatever you can to plug up the boat. You don't say, I'm not going to use that. I don't like that. You use it. If it's there, you use it to try to plug up the boat so you don't drown. So we're drowning in our shit all day long, all life long. We need to use what's available to help ourselves. All right. If the soul moves on after the body dies, what happens to the mind when the body dies? Is it connected to the physical body? These are deep questions. It's easy to give a quick little answer, but we don't even know. You're asking me about if the soul moves on. Do I really know what the soul is? Then you're saying, what happens to the mind? What is the mind? How are you defining mind at that point? Are you defining it as, what type of consciousness are you talking about in the mind? There's many different types of consciousness. So the short answer is, there's some continuum that goes on. What it is, how it works, we don't know. Some people do know, but I don't know. And the results of our own actions in this life, and all the seeds we have planted, positive, negative, and neutral, loving, hateful, disassociated, all those seeds are in that continuum, and they will create another body for whatever that continuum is, until such time as there are no more seeds planted, no more reason to have a body, a physical body. But that's not necessarily the goal. because we don't understand even what these things mean. Let us just try to become more loving individuals, kinder to ourselves and to others. Really, it's very simple. Let us try to treat other beings, other people, the way we want to be treated. And just forget all this other stuff. Just do that. And then you see that you can't, and how hard that is. So then you look for the remedies to help you become that person who can do that. And one of those remedies is chanting. And that's what we're going to do now. One of the questions was, what's a mantra to Maharaji? And this is that. Don't you love it when you put a cola in your mouth that's been sitting around for a month and there's a hair on it? Nim Kuro Baba Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai calling out to hungry hearts everywhere through endless time. You who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this body mind, calling out to hungry spirits everywhere through endless time, calling out to hungry heart, all the lost and left behind. Gather round and share this meal, your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine. Shri Guru Charan Saroja Rajan Jamanam Mukur Sudhari Varanam Raghubara Bimala Jasu Jodayaku Palachari Buddhihin Tanu Janike Sumiram Bhavana Kumar Siyaram Balabuddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesa Bekar Syavara Ramachandra Pada Jai Sharanam Jaya Hanuman Gyana Gunasari Jaya Kapisati Loka Puja Ramaduta Tulta Baladhama Janipur Pavana Sutana Mahavira Bikram Bajrangi Matinirvara Sumati Kesangi Kanchana Varana Viraja Subesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa Hatha Bajuro Dvaja Viraja Kande Munja Jane Usadi Shankara Suvana Kesari Nanda Teja Pratap Mahajagavan Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatu Ramakaja Karibe Koatu Prabhu Charitra Sunibe Korasiya Ramalakan Sita Manavasi Sukshma Rupa Darasiya Hindaka Vikata Rupa Dare Lanka Jara Bhima Rupa Dare Asura Sanhare Ramachandra Kekaja Samvar Maya Sanjivana Lakana Niyaya Raghubira Harda Shira Lai Raghupati Kinhi Bhota Barai Tumma Mama Priya Bharatai Samavai Sahasavadana Tumaro Jasaga Sakari Shri Pati Kantalaga Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Narada Sharada Sahita Ahisa Makumbera Digapala Jahante Biko Bidakai Sake Kahante Tuma Upakara Sugriva Inkin Harama Melai Raja Padadin Maro Mantra Bibishanaman Lankeshwara Vai Sabba Jagajan Yuga Sahasra Jojana Paraban Ilyota Imdura Palajan Prabhu Mudrika Mele Mukamahi Jalabilangi Gaya Charjanahi Durgama Kaja Jagata Kejete Sugama Anugrah Tumarete Rama Duare Tumarakovar Otana Agya Binu Pezar Sab Sukla Hai Tumari Sharan Tumara Chakra Karu Kodaran apan tej samaro ape Dino lokaham karten kampe Uttape sashan kartan he ave Mahavir jabanam sunam Nase roga hare sabapir Chapat nirantara hanumatavir Sankatate hanuman churave Manakam bachan dhyan jolave Sabapara ram tapasvi raja Dinake kaj sakal tuma saja Oram manoratha joko elave Sove amit jirvana parlapav Charam yuga paratapatuma Hai parasid jagata ujaya Sadhu santa ke tumara kovare Asurane kandana ramadulare Ashta siddhi no nidhi ke data Asovaradin Janki mata Rama rasayana tumare paas Sada raho raghupati ke das Tumare bhajan Rama ko paave Janam janam ke dukha visharam Antakala raghuvar pura jai Jahan janam hare bhakta kahai Or devata chittana darai Hanumat se sarva sukha karai Sankata kate mite sabba pirajo sumere Hanumata balavir Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai Kripa karo Guru Deva kinai Jo satabara patta kara koi Chuta hi bani mahasukha hoi Oya vare Hanuman chalisa Oya siddhi saki garisa Tulasi das sada hari chera Kije nath hridaya mande Vanatanaya sankatarana Mangala murti rup siyaram Amalakana sita sahita Hriday basav surabhupa Syavara ramachandra pada jai sharanam Mangala murti artananda Sakala amangala mula nikanda Mangala murti martananda Sakala mangala mula nikanda Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri 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 Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sitaram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram If we know anything about a path at all, if we know that we might be able to find a way to live in this world, in a good way, with an open heart, without fear. It's only because of the great beings that have gone before us. Out of their love, out of their kindness, they left some footprints for us to follow. So in the same way that they wish for us, in the same way that they wish for us, we wish that all beings everywhere, all of us, be safe, be happy, that all of us have good health and enough to eat. And may we all live in peace and at ease of heart, with whatever comes to us in life. Chanting, chanting, chanting. Namaste. Take good care, everybody. Ram Ram. See you soon.